Hey everyone, this is Sir Bala, and for this video, I'm going to quickly discuss lang this particular part dito sa... Okay, I noticed that this is different, behaving differently from the previous videos that I have shown you, and that is because this one now is a dynamic na siya. And what I mean by dynamic is yung values niya, bill, entertainment, food, and miscellaneous, these four options right here na dinidisplay category, it comes from my expense na tracker na categories collection. So as you can see in my collections sa categories, I have 4 documents right here, and if we check that one by one, this corresponds to what you saw kanina. And my point here is, in your application, perhaps this might be a category. Let's say for example, if this is a inventory application, tapos you have a feature where you could add, edit, delete products, and then you could also add, edit, delete new customer orders. And let's say this is a new customer order, and this particular field is perhaps this is product. So pag kinlik nito ni user, is going to display all registered products na galing sa database mo. So let's say you have products right here, you have 5 products right here, 5 products din lalabas dito. Kung 10, it should be 10. Okay. Now this is just not limited lang to drop down na tawag ito input field, no? Could be radio, depende radio po doon. Pwedeng checkbox, kasi yung checkbox you have a lot of options, but the difference niya between the drop down is you can only choose one of these options right here, no? Unlike sa checkbox, you can choose one or more items to check, no? So in other words, that field can take one or more values, no? So yun, point ko lang is there are times that you need to, etong value na to is not hard coded, just like yung previous na source code na actually dinelete ko na siya kasi itong ipapakita ko sa inyo ngayon is finished na source code, and I'll just explain na lang just what did I include and what did I deleted. And as you can see, although I did not delete, kinomment out ko na lang siya because this is the previous code where naka hard coded yung categories ko dito, and this may be convenient sa developer on the initial stage ng pag-develop the program. Pero what if you realize na hey, meron pa palang idadagdag dito ng mga categories, no, or products, no? So if you hard coded that, or even if hindi hard-coded but talagang required talaga, like for example, you have an events management program or application where you have events and then guests. So once you create a new event, pili ka ng mga guest, no, or the host. So you're going to just, there's this field right here where you have the ability to choose kung ano yung specific person or one or more persons for that. So yun, again, there's this need to get all the values from a database right here, and hindi siya hard coded like right here. So yung gagawin natin is, first, as you can see right here, now I included this one in its state. And as you notice right here, kung ano yung corresponding na, let's say this is category, no, So, yung gagamitin mo na qubit should be related to that. So, category qubit. And if you're wondering, I did not where did this came from? Saan ba to? Well, I just recently added these sa code ko. But yeah, you don't have to know the details. But yung point here is you gotta choose you gotta kung ano yung kailangan nyo dito, category, and you need to have a corresponding qubit for that. Tapos kailangan din yung qubit na yun has get all or fetch all, na meron siyang get all or fetch all na method sa qubit niya. So as you, if you check here itong code na to, yeah, and yung dinefine ko lang just for the sake of demonstration is yung fetch all categories. Basta yung point here is you have a qubit right here and you define yung get all or fetch all na CRUD method niya. Okay. We will call that during init state kasi what we want is before tayo mag-build ng UI na i-render na ni add edit expense page yung sarili niya, meron muna siyang initial preliminary, or let's say parang yan nga, preparation, no? Kasi yung preparation niya is first kukunin yung categories, kasi once we start building na yun na, mangyayari is we're going to display it na right here sa baba, and it's actually right here. Eto, okay, now I will just break it down kung ano yung nangyari dito. But basically, before this, no, just ko lang, titiklop ko lang to. Ito yung original na code. Yan, something like this, and category, there's a category options right here. Category options, diba? If you recall it sa like that. Okay. Ito yun originally, right? But what we did now is we click this and then we wrap it in a block builder. Yan. And then yun na yung nakita nyo dito. Block builder, category qubit, and then category state. So let me just delete lang kasi i-discuss ko na yung code ito, but I just show you how kung paano ko siya nagawa ito. So you just use yung lang. That's how you wrap a form builder drop down inside sa block builder. Now, yung block builder naman, as you can see, if I'm going to collapse yung mga dito, no? Yung loob ng function na to is if else conditions. Actually, dalawa lang yung if else ko dito. The first is we check if the state is category loading, because if it's loading, we're going to display a widget na you'll see later, no? Basta is a widget na row that contains a circular progress indicator and a label na loading, a text na loading. Otherwise, kung hindi category loading and was able to now na-load na niya, na-finish na yung task na ma-retrieve yung categories from the database, we're going to now display the form builder drop-down na talaga. And then otherwise, if not either one of these is false, we'll just render a default text button na kapag na-press natin siya, it will allow us to again call the fetch all categories, because who knows, baka in the next na pag-click natin sa text button, we will be able now to display yung form builder natin. So yun, now we're going to check in detail ano ba talaga yung mga contents dito. For category loading, yung ginawa ko lang is just a row, and then yung children niya is technically it's a circular progress indicator, but in order to limit yung size niya, kasi this is big, malaki yung default size niya, we restrict its width and height using the size box. So ginawa natin siyang child of size box so that yung width and height nito will be 16 strictly, no? And then yung this one right here, as you can see, wala siyang child. So this is technically just a size box na blanco. And yung purpose niya is just to have a gap, no? Meron siyang gap kasi 'di ba naka-row to. So this circular progress indicator and this loading are arranged horizontally. So yung pinaka left is ito. Think of it as ano na lang, ito na lang. You just visualize it like this para mag-gets nyo. Something like this. Wait lang ha. Wait ba tayo? Okay. Sandali lang. Medyo mahirap yan. Sorry. Wait, never mind na lang. Basta yung point here is these are arranged horizontally and then naglagay lang ako ng size box para may konting gap between the circular progress indicator and the loading na text. Kasi if I did not include this, it looks pangit siya kasi magkadikit sila. Sorry, may ano. Digkit. Bisaya yan eh. But anyway, so yun, basically that's what I just did. Just a simple row lang just to indicate lang na hey, habang hindi pa fine-fetch pa yung categories from the database, display muna natin ito sa user. And then once meron na nga, now we display the form builder that we did, but the only difference is instead of category options, di ba category options to? Kasi originally we are relying on this static or constant array of strings. Now we want it to be dynamic. So what we're going to do is we will rely on this category loaded kasi yung category loaded and we make sure talaga that whenever we have a loaded state, it should contain or it should hold a list of entities. In this case, since category siya, so expense category, a list of expense categories yung nandito. So yun, yun yung gagamitin natin dito sa items. Rather than category options, we use state that categories from here. And then yeah, that's basically it. What's now this looks mahaba, we don't want to be confused in this code. Kaya sinadya ko siya for recording, to ganito yung itsura so that I could show you that you can this is just more of personal preference, but I want this to be wrapped in or extract ko siya, and I'm gonna name this as category drop down kasi category siya na field, and then drop down kasi yung input field niya is drop down. If this is a text field, so syempre I will name this category text field. Otherwise, category date type picker, whatever. Basta ito yung pangalan ng widget na to once we extract this, and it's gonna look something like this. Yan lang. Okay. And if you're wondering, sana napadpad yung code natin, is actually usually when we extract, just like in other videos, usually they are transferred sa pinaka baba right here, and it's up to you if you want to extract this as a separate file, and usually that only happens if you want to organize further, or we want to recycle this drop down so that other files or other Dart files can use this widget. stateless widget. But yeah, basically that's it. And for this for this file sa add edit expense page, yan. Okay, now here's another thing that you need to take note. So we go up and notice that this is not an expense qubit but a different qubit, category qubit, no? And also nasa init state siya. So dapat remember that just like yung sa sa ginawa natin with this one, before we could be able to call this one without errors, yung ginagawa natin is dito sa view all, what we did is, and this might look shocking or not shocking, actually ako rin yung masya-shock kasi babaguhin ko to. This is not the original code. I already tampered this, but anyway, I will revert this back sa sa dating view all. Wait lang, nasa na yan? A view kasi to tapos yung isa is, sige, let's focus right here sa floating action button kasi this will now change ko na to kasi I did some exploring prior to this, but I will just revert this back to the original code niya, which is push and then material page route which is ano ba yan, nakalimutan ko na, block provider, yan, and then create, okay, yung block provider is going to create but we will provide with the context. Sorry if this is taking time, no, but you can just fast forward this kasi natampered ka na to yung code na to because I was exploring other ways to enhance this program. Context, search locator, expense scheme, and then we provide a child const add edit expense, and then we save. Yun. Okay, so going back, so this is the original code with the add, no? Pag click natin itong add action button, this is what we we navigator push, then material page route, block provider, we provide expense qubit, we get it from the service locator, and then basically we just dito sa child we just indicate kung ano yung page na ipo-push natin, and so add edit expense, no, with blank, no, blank, walang expense na object. So anyway, yung point ko dito is, di ba, going back right here, in order for us to call this one na matawag natin yung add expense sa expense qubit, si add expense page needs to find this, no, needs to find this or needs to have a copy of this. So kailangan kung sino yung tatawag sa kanya, in this case yung view all expense, dapat siya yung magpo-provide ng expense qubit. So that's the purpose of block provider. Now yung block provider currently what it is providing right now is yung expense qubit lang. Unfortunately, we have a call right here sa init state that it is calling a crude method galing to a different qubit, category qubit. And if we try to run that, magkakaroon ng problema sa program natin. Actually, if we try to restart this, sige, i-close ko lang to. I think something went wrong. Nagahang siya. It gets stuck somewhere, pero anyway, you'll see the error na ibig kong sabihin. So let's just wait for a couple of seconds. Again, take note of this one. Itong category qubit, as we wait for the program to fully load, because we introduced a lot of changes, tapos nag-save tayo. Sometimes gano'n nagkakaroon ng problems, and now nire-render na yung app, and there's a chance that's going to display an error. Oh, that's weird. Oh yeah, tama. Hindi pa to mag-error sa pero pag kinlik ko to, then you'll see the error. Ito. So the reason bakit is very much the same sa we encounter quite often. Provider not found exception. Once you encounter this, there's a pretty good chance that let's say yung category qubit, when we try to call a crude method from a certain qubit, let's say category qubit or expense qubit, pag hindi siya na provide pa, which is what you see right now, walang category qubit dito, only expense qubit yung na provide na qubit for the add edit na expense. So mag-error talaga to. And the question is, how do we provide 2 or even more, pwedeng 3 or 4. Right now, dalawa lang yung kailangan ni add edit expense page na qubits in order for this one to ma-call natin siya successfully without errors, without this error to be specific. So the solution for that is we're going to click this one, itong block provider, and we convert it to a multi-block provider, so that now, as you can see, medyo na-change na yung code natin. It's now providing, meron siyang property na providers, which is a list of block providers. We indicate kung ano ba yung mga block providers in this property. So now we just simply copy this yung sa service locator for the expense qubit, and we just replaced it with a category qubit. And now as I save this, syempre mawawala yan kasi it will refresh, or it will reload. And if I click this one again, mawawala na yan. And yun, notice if I cancel and click, yun, kita nyo yung loading, tapos may circular progress indicator, yun. So yun yung desired behavior na gusto natin, although it looks weird, but at least we get what we want, yan. So yan na, once we click the category, now you can see all those all of these options, and this is not hard coded, by the way. If we check dito, wala yan, wala kang makikita dyan. Bill, entertainment, food, miscellaneous, all of its values are coming from here. So if I add another one, which is wag na lang kasi haba yung video, but anyway, the next time you cancel and then you click this again, if you really did include another one right here, let's say magiging 5 na yan, the next time that you open this, magiging 5 din yan. So yun. So that's pretty much it for this video. And oh yeah, there's one thing I need to for you to pay attention din pala. Let's go right here dito sa drop down, kasi wait lang ha. Okay, so itong form builder drop down, yung items niya is state.categories. Okay, but yung as for the child, category dot name. So this category, if you check this one, kasi hindi ko pa napakita sa inyo yung itong expense category. Wait lang. Yan, ito expense category, I just simplify list, but it depends on your for example, if this is an order na entity, this could have one ay two or more na mga attributes, no? But for simplicity lang, I just limit it to ID, hindi naman to nawawala, no? And name. Now name is a string, no? So if you have a property that has a string na as data type, yun yung pipiliin mo for this text and category. Dalawa lang naman yung ano niya. Yung ID is also string, but normally you don't display this sa user, yung ID. This one is it could be name, description. Normally it's name talaga, category name, and then yung value. Now dito nagkakalituan. Ito yung gusto kong emphasize kasi for now, no, yung expense, no, once we add an expense or we edit an expense, yung category niya is just a string, no. Specifically, category name yung hinihingi nito. Okay, but what if we this will be changed into a category ID? Now let me just be explicit, no. We'll rename this. What if pala you have an attribute whose name yung attribute niya is ID siya, could be of, usually is an ID. When we have an ID, it's a foreign key, or basta ID siya na attribute, no. Let's say if this was an order na entity, this could be a product ID or something like that. Okay, product ID. So yung mangyayari dito is, di ba, category ID siya kunyari. Right here sa baba, instead of name, you provide ID. Yun. Kasi if you do this, it's going to cause an error. But if you also choose name, which is different then sa category ID, category and ID and category name are different, so mag-error din yan. So dapat talaga you need to match it. Again, just to emphasize, no, if you have a entity na merong ID as one of its attributes, and say could be a product ID, pwedeng user ID, doon sa drop down mo or whatever field you have, make sure na sa text, sa child na text is normally string talaga yung ano dito, string. But as for the value, I highly recommend that you provide ID. Okay, ID. Kasi once we add, we reach right here, dito na part, di ka na mahihirapan in providing the ID for the new expense or order, whatever entity you have right here. Should dapat category ID din para din to, and then category ID yan para hindi kayo malito. Again, just to recap what I said, because I would emphasize this, baka kayo maghihirapan kayo. If you have an entity, tapos meron siyang one of its attributes has, of course except for this one kasi ito yung pinaka silbing primary key niya. If you have an attribute that is an ID, specifically it serves as like a foreign key. If you're familiar with databases, para siyang foreign key. What you should provide doon sa drop down sa value is the ID. Okay, not the name but the ID. Yan lang. Yun lang yung emphasize. Just need to emphasize lang para ano ko. But let me know in the comment section if you have any trouble or in tracing or following with the code. And yeah, that would be all for this video. So thank you for watching and see you in the next videos. Bye bye.